Hi everyone, it's Miss Haynes here. I thought you'd like to join me today on a virtual geography field trip up to Chillerton Down, so come with me and we'll see what we can find. So this is Chillerton Down. It's situated to the southwest of Newport and it's a high area of ground where the radio mast in the picture is situated, and that's where we're going to go today. We started by walking up the steep chalk path, and I thought I'd stop here just to show you the geography that you can see on the way. So you can see that this area is very rural. That means it's not in the town, it's not in the city, and you can see that there are there's lots of farmland around. You can see the hedgerows dividing the fields, and you can start to see now the actual down itself building up towards the top, and that is a chalk ridge. So you've got beneath the surface, you can see the chalk there, which is the white stone, and that chalk is actually harder than the sandstone around it. Over the years, the sandstone has worn away from the weather and from the wind, and that has left this high chalk ridge sticking out above the Isle of Wight that gives you these amazing views. It was quite a tricky scramble up past that ancient hawthorn tree there that you can see to get to the top. We had to mind out for the rabbit holes, but it was well worth it when we got there for the views. When we got to the top, we found a beautiful ancient grove of oak trees. You can see them here in their winter coats, no leaves on them. What was amazing was that all of the dew that had formed overnight where it had been cold had actually frozen on the branches, and as the sun was melting the frozen dew, it was also falling off the branches, so you had this sort of dripping, tinkling sound of the ice melting and falling from the branches themselves. You might actually be able to see some of those drips as the sun catches them in the video. So I'll take you for a closer look at those trees because I just thought they were worth a look. They're so beautiful. And one of the trees actually had a hole inside it. It's actually hollow, which I'll show you in a minute. It's obviously had some sort of damage to it, or it's had some sort of disease get inside it. And it's created this hollow section inside the tree, which you'll be able to see in a minute in the video. So looking really closely at the bark of this tree, you can see that it's covered with this sort of green crusty material, and that is actually called lichen. Lichen is a really interesting combination of a plant and a bacteria living together. And what they do is they colonise lots of different surfaces, such as the trunk of this tree. Sometimes they colonise rocks, often you see them on the headstones in graveyards as well. And they're a really good indicator that the air is very clear and clean and pure, and that there's not a lot of pollution around. So that's a really good sign that we've got clean, clear air up on Chillerton Down. Here you can see the frozen dew that I was talking about that's actually collected in the bottom part of this tree. Even though it was sunny, it was still pretty cold, so that ice hadn't actually melted. Here it is again, this effect, this frozen effect. You can see it on the gorse, which is this yellow flower. Even though it was sunny, it was still really cold, which you can see here that my stepdaughter Lily is having lots of fun smashing the ice in the huge puddles that we found at the top of the path. You can also see that it's been very wet and muddy lately. And the mud is very interesting because you can actually use it as a bit of a detective story to see who has actually visited the area before you. I don't know if you can see Any footprints, any hoof prints, any bike prints? Who do you think might have visited this area before us today? Here you can see looking out over the farmland at the top. No crops growing at the moment because it's the middle of winter. Farmers do find it a bit of a struggle at this time of the year because there's not a lot that will grow. And you can see also that we've actually climbed so high that we were above part of the cloud layer. And you can see that looking down into the mist, that's actually looking down into the clouds. Here we are finally at the top by the radio mast. You can see those high clouds today, very clear as we rose above the mist. And the camera's going to turn around now, just showing you the beautiful views from the top. Well, I hope you enjoyed that walk with me today, and I hope you enjoyed looking at the geography. Stay tuned for some more virtual field trips that I'll be filming over the next 6 weeks.